everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Becoming the Joneses. I'm CJ.
I'm Elena, as you all know.
Right. And I guess for the first episode, we're going to be talking about how we met. Right?
Yeah. Which is not a very interesting story.
Not really.
No. It's very, regular. Church girl meets church boy. And that's basically it.
Right.
But it's our story, so I love to tell it, and I think it's special.
Okay.
You want to start?
So we've known each other for
10 years.
Okay, 10 years. And then I started singing in the choir, the chapter youth choir, before Elena. Mm-hmm. And then you joined, I don't know, I guess a couple years later.
In 2009, exactly.
Okay.
So I'll tell the backstory to that.
Perfect.
So, the Baptist Ministers Conference of Buffalo was doing a youth revival, and the rehearsals for the youth choir were at my church, because my pastor was the president, or whatever they're called. Yeah, the president at the time.
Okay.
And so most of the chapter youth choir, which I didn't know at the time, but they were part of the choir, this youth revival choir. But I don't remember you singing in it.
I might have, I think I did once or twice.
The rehearsals?
Oh, I don't...
Or the actual revival? Well, anyway. So that's how I came to know about the chapter youth choir. Okay. So after the revival, I ended up joining the choir.
Right. And
then I saw this guy. And I was just like, oh, he's cute.
Of course.
Whatever. And I don't know, it's just, I don't know, something about him. I was like, oh, I could see myself being with him at however old I was in 2009. But yeah. So,
I don't know, so 2009, 2010, sometime, I don't know, around there. She stole my phone number from someone else in the choir, and one day I get a random text message. Hey, CJ, it's Elena. I want to know if you could help me out. Remember, are we supposed to sing such and such when I'm like,
I did not steal your phone number. I simply asked someone for it, and they gave it to me. That's not stealing.
Either way, I didn't give you my number. You got it from somebody else.
Well, how was I supposed to get your number if I didn't have your number?
MySpace.
I wasn't friends with you on MySpace. Were people still even using MySpace? I think that was the time we were
switched to Facebook by then, yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah. So MySpace wasn't an option. It wasn't. So, I just asked someone. It was a legitimate question. I couldn't remember, sort of, kind of, maybe if we were supposed to sing or if we were having rehearsal. I can't exactly remember what the message was. But he responded, and I was like, oh, okay, thanks. And that was it.
The reality is she really didn't want to know if we had to sing or anything. She just wanted my number and to start texting me. That's what it was.
Okay, if you want to put it like that.
Am I lying?
But had I not done that, we would not be here today. Hey.
Okay. So
fast forward a couple of years or so, I invite him to my graduation party. So this is 2012. He didn't come.
No. And I bought a gift and everything, but I don't know what that gift is.
2012, and I never got my graduation gift. It is now 2009.
I never went.
So that's 7 years.
She'll get it one day.
So then, we were just we would text every once in a while, but right. We weren't texting every day. Mm-mm. We would talk on the phone. I remember this one night, we talked on the phone for an hour. Just about random stuff. Because he actually kind of stopped singing in the choir. I was faithful. So I was still singing in it, and I think we were just well, why haven't you been coming to rehearsals and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And he gave some lame excuse. But then I remember us talking about, because I was starting college at Canisius, because I was a bio major, and I remember you saying something like you had helped me with my science experiments.
Yeah, because biology was one of my favorite classes in high school. I really enjoyed it.
And then we would talk about French, because I took French in high school.
And I took a little bit, but mostly Spanish, so.
So we would try and text each other in French sometimes. Which didn't always turn out so well. But we tried. Isn't French like the love language?
Is it? Is French? Is Italian a language?
Italian is a language.
So is that considered a love language, or was it French?
I thought it was French. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, we would just text, on and off. And then I remember this one service, we were in Rochester singing, and you were riding with someone, and I was riding in a separate car, and we were texting.
While we were going there?
While on our way there.
I don't remember this.
Okay, I do. We were texting on the way there.
Okay.
I think I'm remembering this right. I think we were texting on the way there. And then, maybe this is a different story. Okay, well, anyway, I remember, this was before we started dating. I remember us being at a service in Rochester, and he came and sat next to me. I remember it perfectly. I forget who I was sitting next to right here, but there was like an opening, like right here on the pew next to me.
Okay.
And you came and sat next to me. And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, he's sitting next to me. Ah. Yeah, that's all I remember from that service. But I swore we were texting on the way there. But maybe that was a different service after we started dating. I don't know.
Very well could have been.
Okay. What do you remember next? Let's come to 2013.
Okay, so 2013, I'm guessing when we actually went on a date.
Which wasn't a date.
Really wasn't. I just text her and say, hey, you want to, can you meet me at like Spot Coffee or something like that? Spot Coffee, yeah, downtown. Downtown?
You're right.
Downtown.
On
Chippewa. I said, just so we can talk.
So when I get this text message, I'm at school during our Harvest Fest or whatever it's called. And so, of course, I had talked about him to my friends and stuff. Right. So when I get this text message, I'm like, y'all, oh my God, he asked me to go to Spot Coffee with him. So I like drop everything. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna have to see y'all later. Like, I'm about to meet up with him at Spot Coffee. And so we got there. I remember I ordered a hot chocolate and he paid for it. I was like, oh my gosh, he paid for my drink. And then we kind of just sat and talked for like an hour and a half or so. Just about like different things.
Yeah. That was our first interaction. Well, not first interaction, but first outing together.
Yes. Well, just the two of us.
Right.
So what was going on in your mind, like when you sent me that text message?
Like, oh, I wonder what she's doing. Let me meet up with her to have prayer and see what the Lord is doing in her life.
We did not pray at Spot Coffee. So prayer was not on your mind.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, so then that was like the end of that night. And I remember going home and like telling my mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, Mom, we went out. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And so then the following week, I remember getting a text message, or we were texting.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, I have something to tell you, or something. I don't remember, but I actually have a screenshot of this text message. So if I find it, which I will, we will post it. Yes, we will.
Okay.
But anyway, he was like, oh, I might have a sweet spot for you. Those were his exact words. Yes.
Probably were my exact words.
They were.
All right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, he likes me. Because, I mean, it was kind of obvious that I liked him.
All right. So that was about a week.
That was like a week later.
The next week. And then we went to the movies.
Which was our first official date.
How long ago? How long far in between was that?
Like 2 days.
Okay. We went to the movies. And I think at this time, this was AMC Theater. I think when you can pick your seat beforehand. I think they had like just started doing that. We got there, hadn't done that, so all the seats were taken. So we ended up having to sit in the very front row.
The front row, like that, to
see the screen.
Yes, and so I remember we were watching the movie, and we were just sitting there because at the AMC the armrests come up, and so I think our armrest was up, but we weren't holding hands or anything. And in my mind, I was like, "Are you gonna hold my hand? Is you gonna do something?" And so I kind of gave him a hint to hold my hand. I kind of put my hand in the middle where the armrest.
I think it was down. It was down. And by the way, this was my first time being at a theater like that. I had never been there before.
CJ, this was your idea to go to that theater. I don't think I had ever been there.
Because I think I had heard about they have the leather reclining seats and everything like that.
Okay, so maybe the armrest. Okay, you're right. The armrest was down because I put my arm on the armrest to give you the hint to hint hold my hand. Right, exactly. So he was smart and he picked up on the hint and he held my hand.
All right.
What? And so, yeah. And that was the end of that. At this point, we still have not kissed yet. So then, I want to say the following week, we went to the Melting Pot.
Right, in the mall.
And which was our first and last time going there.
Right, we haven't been back. So when you go there, whatever we order, I think I ordered some chicken or something.
Yeah,
she ordered ravioli or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And they brought it out, in a pot or a bowl, a steaming pot or something.
It was literally a boiling pot of water, and they were like, you have to cook your food.
You cook your own.
And I'm like, excuse me?
It maybe had little fire underneath. It had to have had something to keep it. Oh, the table warms up. That's what it was. At the melting pot, the table warms up because they have the fondue and everything like that. The chocolate. That's what it was. So they brought the pot of hot water or whatever out and then turned the table on. You had to put your chicken in there in the little water thing to keep it warm or to cook it.
And I just was not feeling that, especially as much as you paying, and I gotta cook my own food, and I'm paying y'all money.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling that.
But you paid for the experience, I guess.
No, it was an experience. An experience that once you do it, you don't have to do it again.
All right.
But it was cute. I'm like, oh. So we got a 3-course, I want to say, because we got something in the beginning, and then we got the main course, and then we got the dessert with
which was chocolate.
It was chocolate, but different things to dip in it. Wasn't it
to dip it in?
No.
Cake?
Right. It was little cut up pieces of cake or something, and then they brought out chocolate for you to dip the cake in.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. It's been a long time. Still no kiss. So then comes Sweetest Day. October 19th. And I remember it because a family friend of ours actually passed away that morning. So I remember crying, I'm crying, and he calls me and, comforts me and stuff, and he actually sends me a text message that says, Happy Sweetest Day or something like that. So then I ended up going to a wedding that afternoon and going to the reception that evening and then coming home because he was coming over for our Sweetest Day date. So I remember my mom made some chicken fingers and French fries, which for all of you who know CJ, that's one of his favorite meals.
Yes.
So yeah, and then he came over, and I remember I was wearing these red jeans or something. Red jeans and I think a black top, because Sweetest Day is Valentine's Day a little bit.
Okay.
And we watched Tyler Perry Medea play. I forget which one it was. But I think, and a lot of people think, he looks like Tyler Perry.
No.
So yeah, so after we watched the movie, and I forget what we were talking or something, but then he kept putting his finger over my lips just like this, And of course, me, I'm like, don't be putting your fingers on me. Don't be telling me to hush or whatever he was saying. And then he leaned in and kissed me. And that was our first kiss. And we've been kissing ever since.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that
was the beginning. That was how we met.
That's the beginning of us.
And now, fast forward to 2018, we were engaged.
Well, I didn't know we were going into this.
And then 2019, still engaged. And next year we'll be married.
Yeah. So stay tuned to the next episode, and I guess we'll talk about how we got engaged, our engagement story. Now that story is pretty interesting. I really like telling that story.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
See ya.